So this video is me about 10 years ago performing at my college graduation. I went to music school here in Atlanta called Atlanta Institute of Music, and at the very end of my time there, I played a graduation performance. And looking back on it 10 years later, it's actually really, it's hard not to cringe, but I'm gonna put it in this video because it's relevant. That was the very first time I ever performed in public with this guitar. This is my 2010 Memphis-made Gibson ES 335. This guitar has been through thick and thin with me. This is the one alongside my pink Sparkle Novo that if the house was on fire and everyone was safe, this is the one that I would run in and grab. I've played hundreds upon hundreds of gigs and sessions with this guitar. It's been all over North America and Canada and Mexico with me on tour. And through all that time, through all those gigs and practices and performances, both good and terrible, I've learned that this is probably the most versatile guitar ever. In fact, in my opinion, I think the ES335 is the best electric guitar design ever. To me, the semi-hollow double humbucker 3-way toggle switch design is the one guitar to rule them all. If you're going to have one guitar to do everything, I think this should be it. And in this video, I'm going to try and convince you that you can do everything that you need to do as a guitar player with an ES335 or a guitar like this, a semi-hollow double humbucking 3-way toggle switch guitar. Now, I should point out that I'm pretty biased for the 335 because this one in particular holds a ton of sentimental value to me. This guitar was a gift from my mom and dad. When I graduated from music school 10 years ago, they bought me this guitar. See, growing up, I struggled in school a lot. In fact, I barely graduated high school and ended up going to college for a year only to fail out of one college, then go to another college and fail out of that one. It was a tough couple of years for me. But when I found music and when I went to music school, that was the first thing I had in my life that actually clicked. It was the first time I was able to actually do well and focus in school. And I finally had something that was mine and I truly wanted to excel at and I cared about. And so while I was at Ames studying, I took guitar very, very seriously. I would wake up in the morning and practice all day until I went to class at night. And would be at class till 9, 10, 11 o'clock. I'd come home and stay up and practice till 1 or 2 in the morning and get up and do that all day, every day for a little over a year. So about a week before graduation, my dad came to me and said, hey, I need your help. We need to go pick up a truck for work. Which is weird because it had been years since my dad had worked on telephone poles and out in the field. And so I just went with it. It's like, okay, well, yeah, maybe he's got something. I don't know. So we drove to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And when we got to Chattanooga, we kept going. And if you know your southeastern United States geography, you know that Chattanooga is exactly halfway between Atlanta and Nashville. So we hit Chattanooga, we kept going, and my dad told me, we're not actually going to Chattanooga, we're going to Nashville to pick out a 335. The time I was at school, even before I was at AIM, I dreamt of this guitar. So many of my favorite players growing up played these. Even when I would play Guitar Hero in high school, I would always choose the white 335, the one you could unlock. So my dad and I drove up to Nashville and went to just about every guitar in town and played everything. I mean, I must have played almost every 335 that was for sale in Nashville, and I found this one. And this wasn't the most expensive one. It wasn't the best looking one. It's, you know, not a custom shop or anything crazy. It's just a standard off the wall 335. But for whatever reason, this guitar spoke to me. It stuck out, and my gut told me that this is the one. And so we brought it home. And in the years since, I have felt incredibly lucky and privileged to own such an amazing guitar, and I've taken care of it, and I've used it to its fullest potential. But this guitar represents one of my most cherished memories. Me and my dad taking a trip up to Nashville. It was my first time going to Nashville ever. And as such, this guitar means the world to me. And it's something that I will have in my possession as long as I live, and probably end up passing down one day. So I am a little bit biased towards the 335, but at least now you know why. So what makes this guitar so great? Why this over something like a Les Paul or a Strat or a Tele? There's a few common features that 335s and semi-hollow guitars like this have that I think make them incredible guitars. First of all is the body construction. In 1958, Ted McCarty at Gibson had the idea of making a semi-solid guitar. At the time, Gibson was making solid body guitars like the Les Paul and Les Paul Jr. and Special to try and compete with Fender. They were also making their traditional hollow body kind of jazz and jazz acoustic guitars. McCarty had the idea of combining the two body shapes, and the 335 was born. Now, if you want a really detailed history of the 335, I highly recommend my friend Keith's video over at 5 Watt World. You can check that out here or down in the description. But suffice to say that McCarty hit on something big when they came up with this design. Now, if you're not familiar, a semi-hollow guitar, or a semi-solid guitar, is a guitar that has a solid block of wood, maple in this case, that runs down the center of the guitar with two hollow sections on either side. And what this gives you is sort of the best of both worlds. You get the high-end presence and punch of a solid body guitar with the resonance and warmth of a hollow body guitar. Even when you play this thing acoustically, you can tell it's got a lot of resonance. It's quite a bit louder than a solid body counterpart would be, and that translates through the amplified tone. Also, this shape in particular is incredibly ergonomic. Part of the reason I love my 335 is I can play this guitar all day. Now, it is a big guitar. This bout right here is 16 inches across, which is big, especially for smaller statured players. But I'm 6'3", and it fits me perfectly. When this guitar is sitting on my lap, for example, and I'm playing here at home, the neck is in the perfect position. I can sit and play this guitar all day. My wrist is not strained. I'm not having to reach under the guitar or over the guitar, and my right arm rests on this lower bout in a really comfortable way. I don't have any strain on my shoulder or neck. When you compare that to the Les Paul, for example, this is not a comfortable guitar for me to play. Because the body is so much smaller, when I'm playing sitting down, I end up hunching over the guitar. I already have terrible posture as it is, and that doesn't help. Now, standing up with a Les Paul is completely fine. Now, I think the right way to play a Les Paul actually sitting down is on your left leg, like a classical guitar, for example, but, you know, to each his own. But I think the biggest factor behind the 335's sound and what makes it so versatile are the pickups, specifically the PAF, the patent applied for Gibson humbucking pickup. Now, obviously Les Pauls of the same era have the same pickups, so why would you prefer something like the 335? I think it's the PAF pickup combined with the semi-hollow body shape and the size of the guitar. Having that PAF brightness and presence coupled with the warmth and resonance that you get out of the bigger semi-hollow guitar versus the Les Paul makes this an overall better sounding guitar. In fact, 1959 335s have a common nickname of being burst killers because quite a few people out there believe that the 59 335 sounds considerably better and plays better than the 59 burst. Now, obviously that's not a comparison I can make because I don't have the money or access to two 59 Gibsons, but I can compare these two. Now, this isn't a totally fair comparison. These PAFs are by different manufacturers. In my 335, I have the Echo Park Goldie PAFs. Really love these. And then in my Les Paul, I have a set of Whiz PAFs. But for all intents and purposes, they are modeled after real 59 PAF pickups. So how do these two guitars stack up? Gibson was the first to do the semi-hollow design like the 335, but since then plenty of other builders and manufacturers have gotten into the game producing their own semi-hollow body designs. This is my Novo Miras, and on paper it's pretty similar to a 335. It's a semi-hollow design with a block of wood down the middle. Now obviously this has a completely different shape and pickup combination, and this is a bolt neck, so this is sort of closer to a Fender had designed a 335. But something like this has a lot of similar tonal characteristics to the 335, and it's extremely versatile. In fact, there's a ton of great alternatives to 335s out there today. If Gibson's not in your budget or you're just not a Gibson fan, there's so many different variations on the semi-hollow guitar design from all different types of manufacturers. And for the most part, I think a lot of these guitars do a great job in matching the versatility of a 335. They share that tonal characteristic of the focus and punch of a solid body with the resonance and warmth of a hollow body in just the right way. And you can experiment with different pickup combinations. I mean, this has 3 Lollertrons in it, for example, allowing you to get some really cool tones that the 335 is not capable of, like Strat tones, for example, or P90s. I think these are the one type of pickup to rule them all. I'm a massive fan of P90 pickups. Much like the 335, I think you can do everything you need to do with a set of P90 pickups. So it makes a lot of sense to put a set of P90s in a semi-hollow guitar. So what do you think? Are you a 335 fan or a semi-hollow guitar fan? Let me know in the comments section down below. Or what do you think is the greatest guitar design of all time? I want to know your thoughts. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a few ways you can do that. You can check out my tone course down below, which is a course dedicated to the ins and outs of great guitar tone. Or you can sign up for the Green Room. We now have 2 levels available for the Green Room. I'm also working on 2 new video courses, which should be out very soon. You can follow me on Instagram at Rhett Shull. If you enjoyed today's video, please let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I really enjoyed making this video, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. My name's Rhett Shull, and remember, there is no plan B.